What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Marvel Legends Stilt-Man Build-A-Figure Wave Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse Peter B. Parker. And let's go ahead and jump right into it, starting off with the packaging. It is the standard Marvel Legends packaging. You are able to see Pete right through the window here. You can see the accessories that he comes with and the Build-A-Figure piece. On the side of the box, we get some really nice looking artwork based on the movie. On the back, we get that same artwork, but it's blown up just a little bit. Then we have a very short character description. At the bottom, we're able to see all the other figures that it takes to build Stilt-Man, and that's about it for the packaging. It's nice, it's collector friendly, blah 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 blah. Let's rip this figure out and take a look. Alright, so here we have Pete right out of the box, and I'm going to tell you right off the top that I really like this figure, and it just might be my favorite in the wave. They did such a great job with it. The sculpt is incredible. It looks just like he did in the movie, so I really love the way that he turned out. And I want to give a shout out to Gentle Giant Studios because they're the ones who sculpted this figure, specifically May Shelf, and he did a great job on it, and it seems like he was very proud of this figure because as soon as they announced it, he was reposting it on his Instagram page. He doesn't do that with every single figure that they announce that he works on, you know, but it seems like he took a lot of pride in this one and he wanted to share it with people. And he should definitely feel good about this figure because he killed it. He did an amazing job. So well done, sir. I'm really happy with the way this figure looks. And it's a lot of fun to mess around and play with too. Even though he does have this big jacket, you would think it would get in the way, but it really doesn't. You could still have a lot of fun posing him. The jacket is like a soft plastic. It doesn't really get in the way when you're messing with the figure, and that's a really nice thing because with a character like this, I would obviously prefer like a soft goods jacket, but you know, since Hasbro doesn't do that, I like that they use some kind of material that doesn't really hinder the movement of the figure. So I'm happy about that. And he just looks awesome. He just looks like an asshole, you know? And then taking a closer look at the details, starting off with the head. I really love this head sculpt. I think they did an amazing job with it. We've got the hair hanging down in the front. We've got the 5 o'clock shadow. And he does kind of have a mark on his forehead. It looks like they were trying to go for that animated feel just like they did with Miles. But again, just like with Miles, they probably should have done more or not at all because it doesn't really sell the effect that they were going for. And then I kind of thought that he had like gray sideburns, but it looks like only one side is gray. So I'm not really sure what's up with that. But, you know, whatever. Then the hair's all messed up. That looks really good. And yeah, he just looks like, like a bum. I love it. They did a great job with this head sculpt. And then moving down into the body here, the jacket looks really nice too. There's a lot of really nice sculpted details. And, you know, it does look like a big plastic jacket, but there's some like paintwork on there that kind of makes it look like a step above previous similar types of things. Like we have the buttons that are painted gold and then the zipper that's like painted silver. So that all looks really nice. And yeah, they did a great job on this jacket. And then when you look at the suit underneath the jacket, he does have his spider suit. All the details are sculpted on. I do kind of wish that there was black in those web lines. I think that would have looked a little bit better, but as it is, it looks okay, but it does kind of have like a toyish kind of look, you know, but I might hit that with the black wash just to see how it comes out. And then we have the spider logo on the center of the chest that is sculpted as well. That looks great. Moving down into his sweatpants. His sweatpants look really good. You got the elastic band around the waist. Yeah, those look nice. And then you come down to his feet on one side. On the right side, you have his boot, which has some nice sculpting work. We've got some laces. Not a whole lot of paint, but it still looks good. And then on the opposite side, he just has like a regular shoe. No socks on. This guy's crazy. But yeah, the shoe looks really good. And we have a little bit of paint on this one. I mean, it's white at the bottom and then gray on the top. But it would have been cool if the shoelaces were white. But yeah, the details on this figure are pretty well done. There are some little things they could have done to enhance it a little bit, like a wash on the spider webs, maybe a little bit more paint details on the shoes. But for the most part, I think they did a good job with it. I'm pretty impressed with the fact that they added small details to the jacket, like on the zipper and on the buttons. I think that's really cool, and it makes the jacket look that much better. So the figure looks great, and I think the details on him are pretty good. And one thing I want to point out that I saw Robo post about today is that the lower leg is actually on here backwards. As you could see, the opening of the shoe where the tongue and the laces would be is actually on the back of the foot. So all you have to do is spin that around and then bring the foot around to the front, and then there you go. It's all squared away, and it looks better. And speaking of Robo's review, a lot of people have hit me up on my Miles review saying that he definitely has a lower foot or lower leg swivel because they saw it in Robo's review. But as you can see on mine, it definitely does not have a swivel. So I'm not too sure exactly what's going on, but the foot and the lower leg are definitely stuck together. It's not one piece. I'm sure I could heat this up and remove it if I wanted to, but I don't think that it was intended to swivel. So I'm not really sure what's going on Robo's, but I'll tell you on mine, it does not swivel. So, you know, there it is. But feel free to continue to leave me comments saying that it does swivel. I'm okay with that. But yeah. And then as far as accessories go, he does come with a couple different sets of hands. First off, we have a set of just ungloved hands. On the right, he has a gripping hand, and it's kind of a big gripping hand so he could hold on to his drink. On the left, he just has a flat open hand. And then aside from those two, he does come with a set of whip hands that do have the spider gloves on them, I guess you could call them. And then he also comes with a pair of fists that have the spider gloves. And he does come with two different heads. The first one is the one that we've already looked at. This looks really good. We have the 5 o'clock shadow and the messed up hair. And the alternate head has like the mask halfway onto his head, like he's about to pull it down or he just pulled it up. And then the face is a lot cleaner. It doesn't have a 5 o'clock shadow. He looks like he's ready to go fight alongside Miles Morales. So both of these head sculpts are very well done. And then he does have his cup of soda or whatever that is. And he has no problem holding it. I mean, you could get it into the hand there. This hand is a little bigger so the cup could fit. But the hand does get a little stretched out. So, I mean, the cup can fall. But he could definitely hold it. So, I think that's an awesome accessory. And there isn't really a whole lot of head swap potential with this Peter Parker head for other Marvel Legends figures because of how small the little ball joint is that the head sits on. But I was able to get it onto the Mafex body, and I think that looks really good. It doesn't plug on or anything, so he's, you know, he just has some sticky tack in his head, and that's how that's holding on right now. But I think it looks kind of cool. And now for some size comparisons, we have Peter B. Parker alongside the Marvel Legends movie Venom with a custom head from Casting Cave. And on the opposite side, we have the Marvel Legends Spider-Man Noir. And then next up, we have Peter B. Parker alongside the Marvel Legends Into the Spider-Verse Miles Morales and Into the Spider-Verse Gwen Stacy. And I do like the way that these three characters look together. And I think the scale is perfect. I like how Miles is so much shorter than Pete. And same thing with Gwen. So they did a good job there. Next up, we have Peter B. Parker alongside the Mafex comic book Spider-Man and the Mafex Miles Morales. And then now here we have him alongside the Marvel Legends comic book version of Miles Morales from the Venom the Space Knight Build-A-Figure wave. And on the opposite side, we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Superior Spider-Man. And now we have Pete alongside the Marvel Legends Retro Spider-Man and Marvel Legends Cyborg Spider-Man. Because why not? And then last but not least, we have Peter B. Parker alongside the Marvel Legends Bucky Cap and the Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man. And as far as the articulation on Peter, I think it's pretty good. They've implemented some new stuff, and that's always exciting to see, so I'm happy about that. But let's go ahead and get into it, starting off with the head. The head is on a ball hinge joint, so it does move side to side. We've got a little bit of tilt, but not a whole lot. He could look up to about right there, which is really nice. But the neck is angled, so it looks kind of funny from certain perspectives, but it does get some good range, and then he could look down to about right there. But then as you can see, the neck kind of looks funny. So you just need to be mindful of that when you're trying to take your pictures. I think for the most part, it's not really a huge issue, but it's something. And then for the torso, we have a ball joint at the diaphragm and then a ball joint at the waist. And using both of those, he could crunch forward a pretty decent amount. Crunches forward to about right there. Could come back to about right there, but obviously the jacket is in the way. But you could still see that there's some good movement there. If you move it back a little bit, you could have his belly kind of sticking out. So that's fitting for the character. And then you are able to twist at the diaphragm cut and at the waist. So that's nice. Yeah, that's a really dope articulation setup. I don't think I've seen that on a Hasbro figure before. Usually they would throw like an ab crunch somewhere in there if they were doing like a double jointed articulation setup for the torso. It would be either a crunch on the lower side or on the upper side. In this case, they just decided to do two ball joints. So I'm okay with that. It works good. Get some nice side to side. But at that point, the jacket kind of messes you up a little bit. But as you can see, get some pretty good range. So yeah, I like this torso setup. And then for the arms, they do go all the way around. They come out to the side a really good amount. I do wish that he had butterfly joints at the shoulders, but he doesn't. But, you know, it's all good. Not a huge problem. It just would have been nice if they had that in there. And then he does have upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. And one thing about this figure is that his elbows and knees were really tight. I actually had to heat them up a little bit to break them free. And once I did, they were okay, but they were really, really tight. But as you can see, he's got a nice bend at the elbow. For the hand, we have a swivel and a hinge. For the legs, oh, his jacket's kind of in the way. There we go. The legs go all the way out to the side. They could kick forward to right there, which is nice. You could bring them back to right there. And then we have upper thigh swivel, double jointed knees, and then we have a lower leg swivel. Then the foot could go forward to right there. It could come up only to right there, but this foot could actually come up a little bit more because the shoe is smaller. And then we also have rocking ankles on both feet, so pretty good articulation. This guy's definitely a lot of fun to pose and mess around with, and you could get him into some really cool Spider-Man type of poses, even though he does have a jacket and like a body type that's different than a lot of other Spider-Man figures. I think that there's still a lot of potential to have fun with this guy. And yeah, look at, I think he's dope. The articulation setup is really cool on him. And I like that they try different things. It's really cool seeing this double ball jointed torso thing going on. I would kind of like to see that on figures going forward. You could do a lot more with this kind of thing. Well, I just like double jointed torsos in general. Whether it's a ball joint and an ab crunch or two ball joints or whatever. I just like when they do it because it does add a lot of posability to the figures. So I am happy with the articulation on this guy. Alright, so at the end of the day, I feel the exact same way that I did when I first pulled the figure out of the box. I've spent a bunch of time with this guy and my mind hasn't changed. I still think that he's the best in the wave, but there are other great figures. Like I really like the Miles figure. I really like Frogman, which is kind of surprising because I didn't think that I would, but that's a really fun figure. I do hope that I get a chance to review him because he's so ridiculous. I just want to take some time to talk about it. But still, I think that Peter B. Parker is the best figure in the whole set. I think they did everything good on this figure. I love the sculpting work. Mayshelf did an incredible job. Gentle Giant did an incredible job. So he came out really nice. I love the way he looks, especially his face. And just the whole attitude of the figure just definitely conveys the feeling that this character had in the movie. So they just did a great job with the look. The articulation is really good too, especially for a character that's designed like this, that has a big jacket kind of covering most of his body. He's still really posable and a lot of fun to play with. He did come with some good accessories too, like multiple hands, 2 different heads. It would have been nice if he came with the completely masked head, but you know, I'm okay with not having it. Hopefully they come along and give us another version of Peter B. Parker in just a Spider-Man suit. I think that would be awesome. And that might be like the best Spider-Man out there with this torso and everything. Man, they would kill it. So hopefully they do that. But yeah, I like this guy a lot. If I had to pick out something that I wish was different, I do wish that the web lines had some black wash or just some lining work in there. I think that would have looked a little bit better. But that is something I could do myself. I just wish that I didn't have to. So I might have to track down a double of this figure and do that because I want to keep one, you know, original how it's supposed to be. But we'll see if I ever get to that. But that is something that I think would have improved this figure. So I wish they had done that. But aside from that, I can't think of anything I dislike about this figure. I think he's pretty much everything that I would want out of a Marvel Legends Spider-Verse Peter B. Parker. So I am very, very happy with it. And with that, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. If you want to support the channel, feel free to buy an Odious head or a t-shirt or become a channel member. That's something new I'm doing on the channel. Basically, everything on my channel is going to stay the same, but if you're a channel member, you might get some additional content. And that's all. So if you want to support, that's a way you could do it. And if you don't want to do any of those things, that's completely fine. I do appreciate that you watched the video, so thank you so much for doing that. And I think that's about it. So I hope everyone out there has a wonderful day. Peace.